and keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, my goal is to not bash women, but there's a lot of things that like women in the cosplay community have like done tremendously. Like, I have a friend of mine, her name is Elysian Ravar on TikTok and Instagram, and she has actually sat there and said, no, there are a lot of women out here in the cosplay community, for better or for worse, and they are really screwing the pooch on this one, because literally they're out here sitting here doing this, that, X, Y, and Z, but then they want to sit there and blame everybody and mom and accept it for themselves. It's like, okay, there's got to be some level of accountability. Because if you're feeling offended or sensitive about the shiz, you need to leave the room, because you're a part of the problem, not the solution. Shim, we having a discussion. This for the adults, not for the little childrens. And clearly you got some growing up to do with it. That's my mindset when I do buck 50 moments, people.
All right, yeah, so we are doing a new episode with our special guest, Lit Like 96. That's his name on all his platforms. I'll have it linked in the description. How we doing, fam? Great start to a great year.
Shiz, what it do, ladies and gentlemen? It's the host who does it the most on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch. Lit Like 96, aka Spider-Man Hourglass. Don't forget, edit, y'all. Thank you guys so much for the support for the first year. I started this back on January 10th, 2022, and within year one, we've gotten the hashtag up to 300K views. I want to just say thank you guys so much, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm coming up with new content. You guys are about to start getting the actual lore for Hourglass and everything, starting with year one. I'm about to pop out the first episode a couple days early before we hit the second year anniversary. But other than that, let's get this podcast under the way.
See, I actually didn't know that you started last year. That's on me.
What you got? With this cosplay, I started it, but I started my whole TikTok thing back in like 2020.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
To be fair though, I got up to like 10. I didn't even have 10K for like a whole day. It took me 2 years to get like 10K followers, and that was the part that kind of had me like pissed. I'm sitting there like, I've been grinding on YouTube for 5 years, and I love how near the end of 2022, that's when I finally get monetized. Versus like, oh yeah, no, halfway through year two. Right before year two even starts on freaking TikTok, yeah, no, you're up to 10K. And then by the time the day's over, it's like, yeah, no, you're halfway through 12K. I'm like, fam, really? Where's this love on my YouTube? I'm trying to make money on that bitch.
Fam, don't even get me started on that. Like, I like just like a little sidebar. Yeah, I started towards the end of 2020, but I was just doing like a whole bunch of random shit, and then eventually, I landed in anime talk, anime and manga talk, and like when I first started the podcast, it was all audio, like just strictly audio, because we were using Anchor and I was recording on my iPad, so everything, like, we had so many. Season 1, like the first like 12 episodes, so like, the editing was not fun, because I would have to like we were recording and then one of us would just like cut out. And then I'd get a message be like, can you still hear me?
So it wasn't just me going through that shit with Anchor. Christ.
Everyone was going through that. And I was like, oh, okay. Hey, bro, we got to like circle back to this conversation. Give me a second. Yeah. I had to like stop it, restart it. It was... I know that feel tremendously, because I had Akasha the Gamer. For those who don't know, she's a retired adult film star actress, and she also runs an OnlyFans, but she's also a cosplayer on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. I have nothing but the utmost respect for her. And literally, we tried doing this shiz like several months back in like freaking 2022 and whatnot. And it was like right during the summer, like early summer of 2023, I was just like in a live stream on like my second account, because I run like 3 TikTok accounts. The main one you'll find easily. The second and third one are just like backups. I'm practically not even posting on that one. Except the third one. Third one, obviously, because it's mostly more adult content. But anyway, what you call it? And no, you perv bags. It's not the way you think. I just put on the Ahag outfit. Let me answer that question right now, because I already know what y'all thinking. You nasties. But anyway, I said nothing.
I know, but hey, you know how viewers get. You leave the comment section unsupervised for 2 seconds, and they instantly go, don't let all the intrusive thoughts win.
Where can I find it? Where can I find you?
Fucking for real. No, for real. Like, I'll never forget when I first started live streaming on TikTok. I literally was getting comments like that off rip just while in cosplay. I'm just like, this is some wild shit.
I get that from my like gay and LGBT like friends. They're like, ooh daddy, ooh zaddy. And then like the moment like I just did land, I like take the high off of my voice, and I just like, and then I just stay down.
It's funny you bring this up,
like, dude. Ooh, like I need some water. I'm like, yes.
It's funny you bring this shit up because like I found out like I barely checked my message request because what you call it like I like it was like a message from like several months ago, but I guess it was already like counted as read or some shit. Because like you know how it is recording content at like 3 in the morning, and then as soon as you're done, you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go to sleep, and you'll still have the phone in your hand. And I didn't even know I already read it, but it was like some dude just like up in my fucking DMs talking about turn my face into a seat. I'm like, damn, on God, this how we operating? Just zero context. We just diving the fuck in.
So when you making a spicy side, daddy?
I'm like, yo, chill, fam.
I just showed up on the screen.
Like, but I just got here. Speaking of just getting here, some great shows to watch. That's a segue. First, I'm definitely gonna throw JJK in there. I have not seen a show, a book, whatever, a comic, anything. I haven't seen anything get close to what JJK has done. And JJK has been out for a decade yet. But I haven't seen any show reach this level of popularity. It's not even possible. Duolingo did 2 things in 1 year. The first was like dressing up as Suguru Ghetto. And then like the Duolingo bird had the had Suguru Ghetto's thing. And is that...
Yup, Sukuna Haori.
Yo, that's dope.
Yup.
That's dope.
Had to. Peep the shit.
Oh, that's actually really nice.
Yup.
And when Gojo got sealed, they also did some shit. I'm like, yo, I ain't never seen... Like, I've seen One Piece, but you can't compare One Piece that's been going on since, like, the year 2000, basically, to now. Like, they have so much longevity. Same thing with Naruto, Bleach, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball. They've been going on for a long time, so they have that fandom. But JJK is so new, and they have reached levels of popularity I haven't seen. I have people at the gym, like the one of the days I walked in with like whatever JJK fit I had. Ever since then, I'm the anime guy. People come to me, they're like, yo, did you see that new episode? I'm like, no, but I read it.
I know that feel. I'm like that at work too. And let me tell you, this shit was wild. I think if you really pay close attention though, when you watch Sukuna and Mahoraga and you're seeing like Yuji like flail his arms and everything, running all that, a lot of people don't know that, but that's actually a Devilman Crybaby reference. Like when he's like sprinting top speed. He also did this when he was fighting Jogo. When he's fighting Jogo, he's just like sprinting and flailing his whole arms and everything. I was like, oh shit, that's Devilman Crybaby, because like that's exactly what they did when their body was like peaked the fuck out and shit. Yeah, so I was like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, we got all these references up in here in this series, and you telling me they went out their way, especially since you got the devil going up against an angel. Well, I'm sitting here like, that is some Devilman Crybaby shit. Oh my god.
I like that and hate it at the same time, because like it just even Mahito versus Toji and Yuji, like it was referencing the one for All Might's like the 1,000,000% smash, whatever it is. I was like, yo, that's paying homage again. Like My Hero is great, but it has a little bit more longevity. The fandom's a little bit wild. I have not touched the series since season 4.
Dude, don't even talk to me on that. I still debate whether or not I want to bring My Hero OC, because like I had a damn good storyline and plot for him, for Axel Carter, the same way I did with like Spider-Man Hourglass, and I just sat there in the back and it's just like I just kept watching the fandom go down the shitter bit by bit, and I was like, you know what, I done lost the motivation for this shit. Especially when I live stream, because when it's like I wear the UA sports uniform, that shit, it seemed to piss them off. That shit just like send them all wild, because I got tired of being like associated with that section of the fandom. And, like everybody, like all my comments would just get spammed with like Deku is straight. I'm like, yo, I'm not one of those fans. Shit, chill, my guy. I'm not even one of them. Like, chill. And they'd be like, oh, my fault, G. I'm like, nah, I don't blame you.
That to me is something that like it kind of pushes me away from a fandom, right? So like Attack on Titan, I don't like the premise. I don't like the story. I know what happens every bit and piece of it. So like I just don't care for it personally. But like when you get into My Hero and then you get the like it's like the parodies and the fan art. But continuing with things that we like, some people really know how to draw really good characters, and some people will only read and watch it because of the characters. I think you said earlier, what was the? It was either you or a friend of mine that said, "Oh, I'm only watching this because the drawing." Oh, Domo Duda on TikTok. He was the one that said that.
Yeah, yeah, but I totally get where you're coming from. There are like for example, if you've watched the anime Freezing, if you're a fan of High School DxD and you're a fan of Sekirei, Freezing is the anime you're definitely going to want to watch. But the creator Lim Dal Young, that's like the only anime. That's like the only series that actually got greenlit for an animation. But if you look him up, he literally does Japanese manga and Korean manhwa. And let me tell you, whether they're smutty or not, homeboy know how to draw some bad bitches. Hey, that's the key thing. Like I think the manga for Freezing is actually finished. Like I still don't understand why we don't have season 3 because we got season 2 like real quickly. Like as soon as the first season took off, like a year and a half later, they gave us season 2. Like really, it was supposed to be like a 3-year wait. They gave it to us hella quick and early.
Yeah, that's something that kind of bothers me. Kind of not really. Like I love Jujutsu Kaisen. I think the manga is great. I just don't like when studios like Mappa do too much, and it kind of like, for me, it takes away from not the privilege, the experience, because then I feel like something's being undervalued. And even coming to find out that one of the episodes, it was handed in with like 30% completion. I was like,
and that was the crazy part.
Like this is your best reviewed episode, and it's only 30% completed. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, damn, that's crazy.
I think I'd rather get these 30% completed episodes all the time, and you guys do like either a little bit less, a little bit more, because I feel like that, like Tower of God. I don't know if you've watched it. They're getting a season 2.
I heard about that.
It's
like I never got a chance to watch it. I never got a chance to like watch or read it, but it's like I heard it's like okay to an extent, but it's just like what you got.
So the thing with Tower of God is in the first 12 episodes, season 1, they use the first 40 chapters. But of the first 40 chapters, they didn't use 40% of those 40 chapters. So basically you got like a 26 chapter thing with like half context. Now, where season 2 is going to start, automatically you're going to get the context of why Rachel is what Rachel is. And I'm going to repost a video I made, and I think it's going to be releasing right around the same time, so I just got to go and find it, that Rachel is the villain. She is the villain, always has been the villain, and always will be. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but
yeah,
you'll see like immediately from her actions, they're like, yo, why is this like A, B, and C? It's because in the manga, you're getting that explanation already as everything's flowing. Instead of it, okay, now we got to go back, do this flashback, show this, and then like, jump. I'm like that. I don't like that, and that to me can ruin, not for everyone, but that to me can ruin a show or a story when one says, hey, this is what we're doing, we're going chronologically, and someone else says, nah, we don't want that.
Yeah, I can feel you on that one. I think another thing I don't like about like certain animes is like how they literally just kind of like dead them really quickly. Like, it's like, okay, you left the story on like such a good note, but still like for room for where there's more, and then it's like several months, weeks, years later, it's like we still waiting on like that next season. Like there's a lot of animes that fit that. There's Freezing, there's Sekirei, there's Dead Man Wonderland. We're barely getting Panty and Stocking season 2, and it's like I'm sitting here like, okay, look, given how a lot of these sequels and prequels have been coming out for like a lot of various shows, movies, animes, and books, I don't even know if I want it in this day and age, because I guarantee you it's going to be a bunch of woke bullshit, and it's just going to deteriorate the quality of it.
So that's another thing too, is that like if a story, and not every manga, I can tell you not every manga is like 50 plus chapters. There are some that's just like 30-ish if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Which is
especially in this day and age.
It's so sad. I think I have like half a box. Like there's one called Sex Ed 120%. It's set in an all girls school. Like it doesn't like show anything or do anything, but it's like all around like it's kind of a weird premise, but it's like 12 episodes. But it's to be like I'll call it like a door into LGBT like ideology. It's very nice, very well done. I liked it. But like Call of the Night's still going on, but we only get 12 episodes or 15, whatever it was.
Remember Monster Musume? Love how that shit isn't gotten to season 2.
Do not get me started.
I love that.
Like,
shit.
Dude.
Hey,
that's the crazy part. The manga is so good.
Yeah.
It's got so much more to offer, and I'm just sitting there like, dude, come on. You're teaching us about like each monster girl's culture and shit like that.
Domestic
especially like
girlfriend.
Oh, yep.
See, I'm gonna do an episode in the future. You gonna be there because my boy Sage that I do the podcast with and a mutual of mine from Mass. We all they got me into it, and I saw it subbed, and then I went back and found it dubbed.
I've watched both, and I've fully read the manga, and all I gotta say is I enjoyed it. Like despite all the drama and everything, it actually had really great storytelling, start to finish. Also, I just want to make this very clear. I was team Momo. I don't know about you, but I feel like Natsuo should have gotten with Momo. They would have actually made a perfect couple in my mind.
Is Momo the younger sister or the older one? I forget.
Momo's the girl who basically she was going to be like the whole of the school.
Oh,
But then you find out she's actually just like lonely, and it's just like she only slept with like dudes she actually was in relationships with. She may have put out a little too easily, but they left her all alone, and you find out she had suicidal tendencies because her parents were never home and shit. And she was actually like a rich girl and shit, but she was just really lonely. Like a lot of people didn't know that.
I gotta go read the series now.
Hey, what you call it? When they hit college, there's gonna be like another girl, and it's like a lot of people named Sarazawa, and everybody was on her side. And I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of get it, but it was like, but here was the key thing: like they would have made a perfect couple, but she already knew that Natsuo was dating somebody, and she still kept trying to go in and try to play take your man and all that shit. So I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like, let's scream a little home record territory. Like, girl number one didn't know he. Hey, if you just tell it to them directly, they'll just try to make excuses for it.
Well, I know a book that I'm gonna get into, but like a genre I've been like really getting into is isekais, and I avoided them for a long time like the plague. Some of them are not worth your time, even though
clearly
most of them are only like 12 episodes. But like a vast majority of them, really good storytelling, artwork, and that's kind
of like the sad part is like they put all this work into the isekai genre, and I'm just like, okay, y'all can do all that, but you won't do anything towards some of these other animes that y'all putting out here. Some of these animes will be mid-tier as hell, and I'm just sitting here like, but you'll put in all this work for isekai. I'd be like, oh, in another world with my cell phone, a cafe in another world. I'm like, damn, for me, it's like this. When it comes to the isekai genre,
season 5.
Shit, I've been hearing look, put it like this. Me and Visions of Angel have been on the edge of our seats because we've both been hearing rumors, and I'm just sitting there like, I'm like, don't fuck with me. If this is true, I'm gonna be happy. Like, I need this more than anything. Because just Christ, we need season 5 of High School DxD. While we're on the subject, I've noticed that a lot of people keep bitching and moaning about like ecchi/harem animes. They're like, yeah, I hate the fan service animes. They're like, oh, all they do is keep sexualizing the girls. You ever notice the women who say that shit are like chicks who either own OnlyFans, do sexy cosplays, and or have seen every season of High School DxD? Am I the only one who's noticing that shit? And I'm just like, okay, look, but when High School DxD comes the fuck out, you're excited for the next season. Like, stop me where I'm wrong.
That's a lot. I mean,
it's a lot, but
you're not wrong. But I've had those conversations with other people, and that's the thing with fan service is that it's for the fan that its service seems, right? So if you don't like it, you are not the intended audience for that scene. Now, the other people that like it, they were the intended audience. Don't get me wrong, certain things like Food Wars or like some beach episodes for anime, sometimes they're a little bit too aggressive, but for the most part, they're for a specific demographic.
Especially Food Wars. Food Wars is just fucking wild, and I'm just like, dog, I'm sitting there like, this is ridiculous. It's an anime about cooking. I don't like the Prince of Tennis never even went this far.
Yeah, yeah, no. I actually have what is it? I have the blonde chick and the main chick from Kakaguri. I have both their signatures, and I think it's the blonde. Yeah, the blonde chick also does someone from Food Wars, and I was like, oh, I love doing Food Wars, like but there's certain themes around my room, right? Like obviously some of them are a little bit more aggressive than others, but like when I get a signature from one person because of the show, it's because right there in that moment they blended so beautifully all together that I'm like, I have no problem like having this little collection, not only of their signatures but the poster for that show. So I also I have like a naughty wall right here, so I just got to be careful. But like right here, Sebastian from Black Butler. I forget what else she does. That's Mad Moxie from This Is All Borderlands. And this is Mount Lady from My Hero Academia. So I'm like, yo, like this is dope. But I heard them all first from a video game, except for her. She did. I forget who she did.
Who? Mount Lady?
No, not Mount Lady. I think she did someone from Yu-Gi-Oh.
My Valentine?
I think so, yeah. I'm not going through my phone to try and find that, but yeah. But even though, Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm like, I don't have anyone from Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not gonna get anyone from Yu-Gi-Oh. So it's gonna be My Hero, not My Hero. It's gonna be Borderlands. So, but it's like the theme is there. Everything has like a little theme, but it's just like it's so crazy that certain people's voices. And that's another thing too that makes me want to go back to a show is the voice actor.
Yep.
Like I'm in the middle of playing a game. It originally came out like 04, 05, and then they did a remaster which came out like 2019. And I could tell you the name of it if I could pull it up on my history because I forget what it is right now. It's Oni Chambara Origin. So Origin is the like remaster remake, but Oni Chambara is the name of the franchise. And this shit has been going on for years. There's so much lore behind it. And I heard the voice for the main character, the like older sister that you start the game with. I was like, why does her voice sound so familiar? Oh, I feel that. This is Makima from Chainsaw Man. I'm like, of course, yes, I need her signature. And then when I heard the dad, I was like, oh, that's Endeavor. That's Daddy Endeavor right there. I don't need to play no games. I know his voice from a mile away. I just searched it up. Yep, there it is.
Exactly. I feel that way. When I've heard like Steve Bloom's voice, like especially when I played like when I played Black Ops and like I played zombies for like the first time because this was my entirety playing zombies in my whole entire life in Call of Duty. And it's like when I heard that, I was like, ain't that Wolverine from Wolverine and the X-Men? I'm like, what the hell? I was like, damn, I didn't know he was up in this. I'm like, hey, that's kind of sick. Shiz. I'm like, okay, I want to play as him more frequently. He got the best voice lines and shiz. And then it's like, Steve Bloom, you hear him everywhere. Where I'm like, oh, okay, that's him. Oh, that's him. And this is before I learned how to actually get in touch with like knowing who the voice actors were and shit is and whatnot. So you can imagine what that situation's like. I'm sitting there like, okay, he everywhere now. And it's like, especially when I hear like Steve Bloom was in the Guinness Book of World Records for having like the most characters voiced and shit. Really? This was like back in the pandemic. I think it was like what 2021, if not early 2022 at the time. Yeah, no, like Homeboy had like made it up there. Yeah, that was the crazy part. I was like, wow, that's super wild. I didn't expect that, but I could see it.
Damn.
Especially since he plays as like Zeb from like Star Wars Rebels and shit. I was like, that was him. I was like, damn, I didn't even know that was him. Like that Aussie accent had me like bamboozled for a minute or two. It took me a minute to recognize that.
No, another person that I was too young to recognize it, and then as I got older, I was like, why does this sound so familiar? The dude that played Billy from Billy and Mandy, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Richard Horvitz, yeah.
And Zim from Invader Zim, same dude.
Yep.
I was like, wait, what? Because it was one of the voice actors that's, I think it's like Hell of a Boss or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
He's done a whole lot of characters and skits on YouTube, and that was like his first voice acting gig. Like he's getting paid specifically just to.
All right, Sage Squad. Those not a part of the Sage Squad, but you still seeing this message. It's important. All right. I know you get tired playing the game, especially on Unite. I always say get high off of potions. All right. Special item right there. Give you a little bit more life. Give you a little bit more energy, right? Damn, close combat into this W right here, all right? That's what I'm talking about. Get the W with W. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Use my code. It's going to pop up somewhere. Not sure where. But you're going to use that code, get 10% off your next order. The caffeine, all right? And it's not just that alone. It also comes with great vitamins on the inside. So if you do want to use this as pre-workout, because we know you like going to the gym, don't you sit here and lie, okay? Me as a Lucario main, I know we like to fight. So that means we got to stay ready. You know, we got to pump that iron. You know what I'm saying? Purchase WD. Code SAGE EJ.
Do that. And like meeting him, he's like, this is my childhood right in front of me. And like when you're like, wait, this is this guy. Like he has, in his opinion, he's like, oh, like this is, I see him on this pedestal because like he's done no wrong. He's been doing this for years, and now I'm working with him. Like it's weird, but it's also like like he knows the business. He's like, hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, yada yada. And then I'm like, yo, that's wild. But I think in like terms of like paying homage to characters and loving the show, loving the character, like the voice actor behind it, cosplays, man. Or as I like to jokingly say, my harem. Everywhere I go, just more and more. I have some friends that they're like, oh, next time you go to one, and it's not too far away, I want to go with you. I'm like, so another one to the harem. Now, personally, because like we've only like, it was just me and my girl, so like I would try and do something with her to like get her into like, no, like this is a huge community, bunch of people here. You never know who you're gonna meet. This past one, I don't know if you even saw. I did post it, where it was me, her sister, their aunt, and we were all doing Pokemon. So I'm Ash Ketchum. I'm catching them all. My girl is Eevee, her sister is Charizard, and their aunt is a Sloth. It's nice. Like a half aunt situation, but we just call her aunt.
I feel you.
And then we ran into a Cynthia that also had an Eevee. I was like, yo, picture. And it's like there was only one day that we all like did that group thing because everything else was just like, hey, we're doing our own thing. But I feel like in doing the group setting, when you're going out and about in like a foreign land, it's like, hey, have you seen my partner somewhere? You're just like, what? But it's like when we go and we do it, it's like, hey, like this is a group activity. So I want to like, have something memorable from the group activity that we did, that we took our time, patience, and money into, and that like we'll enjoy. I did like make a huge like BDSM joke. My girlfriend's sister was the only one to get it. I was like, everyone else they're what's it called? They're
too pure.
They're too pure. You got it. That's good. Well, what are your experiences on that, by the way?
I mostly have gone to cons by myself. It's just like I don't really have much of a group. It's more of like I come across a group of friends as I go bit by bit. If we like happen to be attending the same con and we just didn't know about it, that's how it mostly kind of kicks in and whatnot. Not I'm more like oh shit, there you are, Anthony, that kind of person. Like person that's like where people see me, they're like, oh shit, I didn't know you were here. I was like, yeah, I didn't know you were going to be attending. I've never really thought about it. I've made posts saying, hey, I'm going to here and whatnot. Like case in point. I don't know if you're familiar with this one convention called GalaxyCon, but it's coming to my city in San Jose this August, and Josh Keaton's going to be there. So I don't know about I'm sitting there like, oh shit, a big ass convention is coming to my area. I'm like, yes sir. Especially since Fanime is over here like making sure people don't go and all that because they're like, yeah, no, in order to attend you have to be vaccinated vaccinated in order to go. And I'm sitting here like, okay, but they got rid of that rule back in March, so you shouldn't even be doing that. Also, you scammed a lot of people out of their money. Oh yeah, around the time when they like put it like this, I bought my ticket back in 2020 along with a bunch of other people, and they had postponed the event because of the outbreak and all that, right? But instead of like giving people the money back, because out here in the state of California, that's illegal. If anything gets postponed or canceled, you got to get the money back instantly. Or that's like a 5-star class action lawsuit type shit. Shiz. They held on to our tickets over the course of like 2 years, saying, "Hey, we'll be back in 2022." And a lot of people were like, some of us were like, "Okay, that's cool." The others were like, "No, give me my money back now." Then fast forward to 2022, they were like, "Okay, you can attend, but only if you're vaccinated." And then everybody was just sitting there like, "Okay, well, if you had told us that beforehand, we would have been, everybody would have, and their mom would have been requesting a refund, and you're gonna have to give us our money back one way or the other." And then it's like, during the midst of the con, which was like a 3-day period because it happens Memorial Day weekend every year, they sat there and were just like, what you call? It's like, okay, what you call? You got during the con, you got this much time to actually like request a refund and all that. Everybody and their mom requested a refund. Fast forward to January of 2023, and that's when they were saying, "Hey, refunds and rollover tickets are going to come out like before should be out and about by this time period and whatnot." Everybody was lighting them all on Twitter. They like, "Dude, that shit was supposed to kick in as soon as the convention was over. Like, it's been several months and you didn't do anything." Like, the customer service on that con is atrocious. And it's like, for everybody who requested a refund, they still gave us rollover tickets, and everybody was just sitting there like, "We didn't ever ask for that. We asked for our money back. Like, I want my $80 back for this ticket, fam." And then only to find out you're still holding that same rule. Like, "Yeah, no, you still can't attend unless you're fully vaccinated." Be like, dude. And then it's like, when Biden dropped that shit in March, it was like, okay, so basically everybody and their mom can drop that shit. Now there's no excuses behind it. That everybody's just sitting there like, okay, so you didn't give anybody their money back. You're telling them they still can't go, and you're still giving them the ticket. So I'm just like, it's a matter of time before we start seeing ads all over Instagram talking about did you try to go to Fanime back in 2022 and 2023? If so, you might be entitled to compensation. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because it's only going to be a matter of time.
It was about very, very disheartening. You be like, "Hey, we're out in public. It's pandemics. We're still in whatever. We have no problem verifying that we're vaccinated. We're using our mask." Yet the only time people took off masks was to take a photo, and that was it. Besides that, masks on, because it's a lot of walking. It's a lot of everything. But if a con were to do that to me, I'd run them to the ground. I would get all my. It's not what you know; it's who you know. Where that's where I would. This con is never coming to my state ever again. Or
exactly.
This vendor. There's actually a vendor. There's a lot of drama behind him because he is kind of stealing from people. I think that's the easiest way to put it. Is that he puts prints up for sale. And then he never delivers. It never gets delivered. He'll do commissions. You'll see him draw some shit, but that person never gets their commission, even though they paid for it and have receipts that they paid for it.
You know what? I've been seeing some of that shit on.
Whatever you do,
I don't know.
Say the name.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna say their name because that was the key thing. I saw most of that shiz on Twitter because a bunch of NSFW artists I follow and they were calling this person out. Thing was though, I don't even know the person's name because they actually were playing the smart game. They said no, be wary. There's a certain artist on Twitter where they'll do commissions and whatnot. They'll draw the commissions and everything. You'll see the work getting done, but they'll never get those commissions. They're taking the money and just skedaddling with it. It's I'm not going to say this person's name so they don't get any more traction and whatnot. That's the reason why I have it blocked out. So it was when that came in, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not even mad at that.
Yeah,
it's what you go.
The specific person I'm talking about. So a friend of mine, she made a video. That video passed by I would call it their agent, the dude's agent, and they're like, "I need you, if this is true, I need you to show me proof, because if it is, he's in violation of his contract, and all these business opportunities that he has through me, gone right now." Not only that, that lady is friends with the people that I wouldn't call promote, but that they are part of the team that builds together the con, where it goes, the artists, yada yada. And she's like, oh, like I have a shit ton of friends that do that, and he is never allowed in these cons. And then they actually put a ban on this dude for like 10 years.
Damn, gave him that Will Smith treatment.
So it's like, oh yeah, so it's like it's not a what you know, it's who you know. Because like you can make your bread, you can go have your fun, you can go and like go wherever, but the moment you cross the line of like not delivering what's needed to be done, that's where like a lot of people will like, you know, throw you under the bridge and say kind of screw you. And speaking of throwing under the bridge and screwing you, while still in the world of cosplay, not everyone's friendly. It's very sad. I don't know if you know MMA Myers.
Yeah, I know him.
Him,
friends with him and all that.
There's like four other like cosplay mutuals that I went and I like talked to them about it, and they all like kind of give almost the same answer, which is like have fun with it, express yourself, but like don't worry about others. And there's one specific mutual that he's like, do that, have fun with it, but there is a line in the sand as a community, which is like, okay, we want to make this person like appear a little bit more sexy. Cool, we can do that. A little bit of leeway, not a lot, but there is a little bit. Or there might be a version of that character that already is like a little bit sexier, like, you know, Princess Leia. She has a little bit sexier version. Cool, great. But when you want to go and like just do this shit and do a huge perversion of it, then it destroys the authenticity of it. If you can get close, or like, you know, you're putting your best intention behind it, that's great, and that's what people want. But there are some people in the cosplay community, like they're a little bit too aggressive, like Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans are Star Wars fans, but it's also like Star Wars has been going on for like 30, 40 years. And I mean, at that point in time, I'd be a little bit aggressive too if, like, you know, someone did Darth Vader wrong, like they did him like almost in a complete opposite, or they're like doing something else. It's like, no, like something like that shouldn't be perverted. Like a Darth Vader should not be perverted at all. But it's like, okay, cool, I want to use this one character from Elder Scrolls, and I kind of like want to make it work for me because I'm a woman, right? Or like, you know, a guy's like, oh, I like this specific character, but like, no, they're a dragon. I can't make a dragon, but I'm gonna get close.
And it's funny that you bring that up, because I think it's time we brought in that topic of that Reddit post. And that Reddit, now for those of you who are curious, there's a post, if you go into the cosplayer subreddit, there's a post of this woman. She's got blue hair and everything, but she did her own Dragonborn cosplay from Elder Scrolls V. To summarize it in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, she basically went all in and everything. Like, she did it all. 3D printed the swords, 3D printed the shield, did the rivets and the armor and everything, just like full 100% detail. Like, it literally took her I think if I remember correctly, because in the comment section she mentioned how it took her like a couple of years, if not a year and a half, to get done, because she had to really put some blood, sweat, and tears in there, because she wanted it to be like accurately detailed as it was in the game. So I was like, I had to give her props. I was like, nah, that shit immaculate. You did knocked it out the park. The armor looking dope though. Like, I'm telling you, that horn helmet was looking so good. I was like, hey, yo, how much for that shit?
It looks amazing. But there's actually a comment right here. Just gotta give me a second. I literally like just said it. Okay, having like, you know, some sexual elements in cosplay is fine. If you don't like it, then don't cosplay characters that tend to show skin. If I cosplay Lucy from Cyberpunk, the posters, no, the commenters, like, you know, titties and ass would be out because that's the character design. But if I do Mikasa, she'd be covered. So it's like there is the fine line.
Yeah, because it's like, I know which comment you're talking about. I damn near know the Redditor you're talking about, because I went through the comments and I was like, no, this right here, like, stop picking the characters with like the sexy bodysuits where they basically got everything out and about, and it's like you can pick the character. They're based, like, every series and franchise is giving you two sets of characters. Like, yeah, you got one where like a chick's got her knockers out and her ass out at the same time, and then you got the one that's actually dressed normally and all that shiz. And then it's like you're gonna sit there and say, oh, stop over sexualizing the character. And I'm like, okay, they're not over sexualizing the character. You are, because you chose this character to cosplay as instead of the other one because you said she looked too basic.
Yeah, like,
and it was just
what is it?
And it's like
Naruto from obviously Naruto. I'll be like, he has the sexy jutsu where it's like the clouds and whatnot. That I think is like probably the best. It's the funniest thing. I saw a dude.
That's the best and primary example of that because, okay, you can wear the actual outfit he's got, whether it's Shippuden or the Boyhood arc, to take your pick. But no matter what, if you choose the sexy jutsu, you can't bitch about over sexualization anymore, because that tells what kind of character you are as a cosplay player. Ignorance is a choice, and I've seen a lot of women choose ignorance over accountability any and every day of the week. That's why I have my Buck 50 franchise on my series on my freaking TikTok. Because like I discuss this shit and I sit there and I say no distracting arguments such as like, oh, but men do it too, or not all women. It's like, okay, I obviously, like, because when I speak on these subjects, I'm sitting there like, obviously it's not all women, but I'm not going to sit there and try to comfort you mid sentence and whatnot. Let me get my point across. If you're feeling offended or sensitive about the shiz, you need to leave the room, because you're a part of the problem, not the solution. Shim, we having a discussion. This is for the adults, not for the little children. And clearly, you got some growing up to do with it. That's my mindset when I do Buck 50 moments. People, you gotta, in order to talk about these subjects and find a solution, you gotta go in and do criticism on both sides. And that's always been the biggest problem.
Yeah, that like the game that I talked about earlier that I'm playing is, first of all, it's rated M, and they going to the extreme with it. Like it's very revealing clothing. I was like, I don't know what I'm playing, but I'm here, so let's just go with it. And like my all of my boys from the gym, they all like, what are you playing, fam? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, no, what are you playing, bro? I'm like, I'm playing a game that came out many moons ago. I like it. I like it more for like the gameplay, the artistic value that it is. The fact that this game isn't really talked about, probably because it's basically 18 plus, and like that we get introduced. Hold on, we get introduced to a character like maybe like a third of the way through, which is like the main character's younger sister. There's like a whole lore thing where like they're told that they're half sisters, but they're actual sisters, and they both accidentally killed their half sisters. Not the point. And and when like the younger sister comes in, my boy like hopped in, he's like, yo, like she's mad cute, like I'd smash. I'm like, I need you to hold on for a moment. And then I pulled up the wiki. I was like, I just need you to understand that what you just said is the problem, because she's 16. But like I'm sharing the entire thing on the screen. He's like, I take back my statement, give me the old sister. I was like, no, like you can like a character's design, because she has like 2 or 3 different costume designs, and I like them. They're very nice. But like the older sister one, there's in the season pass there's a costume design change for both of them. It's like, oh, BDSM. I was like, no, I refuse to have the option to see that. I don't even want to see it. Well, oh, it's for both characters. I'm like, I don't want to see that. Like, don't give me like a non-aggressive version of like what the costume design should be for the younger sister. But it's like, no, you get it. And I'm like, no, that's probably why the game died, because you guys are over sexualizing these characters. Now, don't get me wrong, the sister, the older one that we follow, she's hot. And she has like they have like a berserk form and then like a devil form. I'm like, the moment devil form popped up, I was like, smash.
While we're on the subject, I feel like we need to finally talk and have this conversation about like underage characters in anime. We can admit that like it needs to be a conversation topic, because let's talk about this. Here's my whole concept with the shiz. First things first, we have to establish that all this shit is mostly made in Japan, and so in other words, it's made in a country where it's like their rules are completely different from ours. Yes,
they just changed it last year that the age of consent was bumped up. I only know that because like I made a bunch of like TikTok videos
because it used to be like 13. I didn't even know.
Now
see that's
a problem. That is the problem.
It's
such a problem.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. Like, the fact that you're telling me this now, I didn't even know that something like that has never popped up on my TikTok time feed. I used to get news shit like that, but now I don't, especially when you're in anime TikTok.
It was because, I forget what discussion, like, specifically I was having with someone. I was like, wait, hold on. What is out of curiosity, what is the age of consent in Japan? And then I typed that up and then I said 13. And, like, it was from an article that was, like, in 2018. I was like, oh, that explains so much more now in 2021, 2022 than the past like decade and a half of watching all this anime, because it explains why there's an over sexualization. It partially explains why like a lot of, not really, there's no way to like talk about that, but like why people are basically pedos and why there are those pedo characters in anime. Like you have Orochimaru, Hisoka, and there's like a whole slew of other people. But there's a reason.
I will
why.
say this.
Sense.
I'll say this.
I don't agree with
that whole thing with. Absolutely, but also let's think about it from this perspective. Orochimaru, yeah, most definitely. There's no denying that. Hisoka is a whole different ballpark, on the other hand, because it's really weird how people say this. Because here's the thing is this. He's a sadistic, homicidal maniac, okay? It's no different from what the Joker fucking does. So sit here and think about it from this perspective. Okay, he sees this young 12-year-old kid who has the potential to get strong. He likes a strong fighter and everything. Okay, yeah, but he does all this weird pedophilic shit. And I'm like, okay, and where was this shit with Orochimaru? But here, I'll do you one even better. Most of the people who complain about that are the same people who will cosplay and kin him. Like, you know how many people will sit there and say, oh, you're wearing a shirt with a pedophile on it. I'm like, bitch, you cosplay the pedophile. Like, I like the way he fights. He's an evil, demonic character and shit. He's supposed to be creepy and give you the fucking chills. And like, that's called character development. If a character's supposed to be creepy and sadistic and evil, then guess what? You're gonna check all the boxes and just make them feel like a fucking scuzzbag. You know how many people who, like, you never give any people who cosplay the Joker shit, especially after Batman the Killing Joke got fully animated into a movie. Let's not forget what he did in the Killing Joke, folks. I'm sorry, but that's the bittersweet truth we gotta swallow there, because no matter how you sit there and slash that, I've never seen a single Joker cosplayer get any ounce of flack. Why? Because you had Jack Nicholson, because you had I just had Joaquin Phoenix, and because you had Heath Ledger and all them play good renditions of the Joker and all that. Oh, and Mark Hamill too. I've yet to see anybody give Mark Hamill shit.
Mark Hamill is the Joker. I don't care like who Mark Hamill is the Joker. Like I know he will never touch it again because Batman's dead.
Absolutely. Although I will say this, John DiMaggio did a damn good version of the Joker in Batman Under the Red Hood. I feel like that was underrated as hell. Like I'm just saying, if Mark Hamill no longer wants to be the Joker, there's always John DiMaggio. I feel like we need to step in on that a little bit more.
There are certain battles you pick, you choose, you fight, you don't fight, you try and bring some light, you try and help people understand shit so that it can be a better community, right? And that's what I feel like we can do as individuals, as a group, that we can have fun, we can teach, we can whatever. But if people aren't willing to understand that, like, they can make a change, let it be however small or however big. Like some people just don't want to accept change at all, and that's where you realize in your battle, it's like you did your part, you've presented the case, you've presented the facts, and people just don't care, and that's not on you. That doesn't fall on you at all. Is Jesus take the wheel? But all in all, like, do have like a little bit of common decency. Like do like have a little bit better judge of like the scenery you're going to. As long as you put your best foot forward in terms of like making it, people will love it. Line in the sand, try and stay on the right side of it, and not go like destroy something.
And I feel like
if not,
and it's
just do an OC.
And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, my goal is to not bash women, but there's a lot of things that like women in the cosplay community have like done tremendously. Like, I have a friend of mine, her name is Elysium Ravar on TikTok and Instagram, and she has actually sat there and said, no, there are a lot of women out here in the cosplay community, for better or for worse, and they are really screwing the pooch on this one, because literally they're out here sitting here doing this, that, X, Y, and Z, but then they want to sit there and blame everybody and their mom and accept it for themselves. It's like, okay, there's got to be some level of accountability, because I'm a woman, and if I'm going to dress a certain way, I still need to be aware of my surroundings. I can't just sit there and expect all the work to be done for me just because my gender says so. It's like, I'm going to dress like an exhibitionist and whatnot. It's like, okay, cool, be calm, cool, and collected. It's like, all right, cool. What you do is what you do.
To each their own. Battles you can win, battles you can't. But when you try and change the outcome of something after so many attempts, is just clear insanity.
I do want to say one thing, ladies and gentlemen. As we come to an end with this podcast, just a firm reminder, much no different from Buck 50 Moments on my TikTok and YouTube pages. We also want to know your thoughts on the subjects and everything, ladies and gentlemen, that me and have talked about here on the podcast. Don't forget, and we want to know all your thoughts, whether you think that one thing is good, one thing is bad. All comments are good and whatnot. Just remember, though, we want to know the full raw thoughts, but we don't want to loop around in a circle, ladies and gents. And most importantly, everyone's got an opinion, and much like assholes, everyone's got one. So with that being said, you ain't got to like each other. You ain't got to love each other, but you should at least respect each other's opinions one way or the other. Amen. Ladies and gents, this is the host who does it the most, Lit Like 96, signing off for the day. Hey, ladies and gents.